Holocaust Remembrance Day definitely comes around once a year, and it's time for us to reflect and to think about it in the context of what we're experiencing in the current time. And there is so much going on. We definitely have a lot to discuss. So I thank everyone who's tuning in as well for being part of the discussion. Um, so my first question to the panel is essentially what we're talking about. Why is Holocaust remembrance relevant today, especially when you think about, goodness, just the first 2 weeks of 2021, right? And I'll go to Dina first.
Well, I think, we think of the Holocaust daily. As a child of survivors, I typically think of my parents and what they've gone through and my other relatives. And unfortunately, right now, we're seeing parts of, what went on during the Holocaust times coming back to us. And I keep thinking to myself when I watch the news and see, what's been happening in Washington, for instance. I think about my parents and I think like thank God they're not here to witness what's going on in DC. They loved America, and when my father came to this country, he actually went to Washington D.C., and that's where he started in this country. So I think to see all this, unrest and you know craziness, as he would say, um, makes us realize that we can't forget what went on during the Holocaust. It's with us all the time.
As a child of survivors, as Dina had said, we live through this each day knowing what our parents had experienced. They endured unimaginable pain and sorrow at the hands of perpetrators, the Nazis and the collaborators. It was unimaginable that my parents went through the Holocaust, but to see what's going on in this country now, it's very unsettling, and I'm appalled to see how people have so much hate. My parents were fearful that this could repeat itself. So we need to educate people. For someone to go around with a Camp Auschwitz shirt, they need to be taken and go firsthand to Auschwitz and speak to a survivor too, and hear the testimonies. My parents shouldn't have experienced this in vain. It was a time in history where the Jews were scapegoats and everything was blamed on them. We can't go through this again. It's just very unsettling and disturbing, for my children, grandchildren, and for future generations not to experience this. It's horrible for any race to go through this. My mother always said, we can live together if we all work together and get to know one another, not to spew hate.